Hi guys, this is Alan again, and I thought I'd do. Normally, I do things on targeted individuals, of which I am one. But about 24 years ago, I put together my own little booklet. I was just going through a period of questioning and doubt. I'd studied for the ministry myself. I studied a lot of what they call apologetics, um, evidences for the faith, the Christian faith, and versus secular humanism, different forms of atheism, and cults, and all the religion between, and different apologetics. Um, but I noticed that there's a lot of things. There's also, in regards to psychology, religion has not been very conservative. Religion has not been very favorable to psychology. It's getting better now in the last 50 years, but there's always been a tendency to view psychology and things of the world or science as being worldly. And I think it's a danger depending on how some liberal religions and some aspects of some evangelicals that are conservative do have a more, they're trying to mold psychology and traditional faith. And that's more hopeful and optimistic. It can be helpful. But I found a quote, I think it was from Hazards and Heartbreak was the name of the book. And I found a quote. I gotta find it here real quick. Where is it? Um, anyway, what it has to do is a quote I found about. There's also a great book called Marlene Winnell's "Leaving the Fold," and it's in regards to how people view the self, the innermost core of your being. Anyway, in this one book, there's a quote here about Billy Jackson. He was on a Donahue program, and this is a quote that he had. There used to be a group called Fundamentalist Anonymous, and he had quoted, "We had in the church, we had to become like Jesus Christ and die to ourselves." Or, in other words, you kill your own personality off to such a degree and replace it with Christ. And when I did leave the faith or the church, whatever, I had it off so much um, to the point that there is nothing left of yourself. And that's what keeps you in there because you can't relate to anyone else. So a big part is even a thing called enneagrams, and it's about how people, there's like 9 different types of the enneagram in regards to people's personality. And there's one called number 9, and it's where people in the wish to not be either selfish or not to be uh, warning against pride, ego, um, that they almost become so anti proud or anti arrogance that they become super humble to the point of they almost wish to push their ego down, um, in the way that way they're humble to everybody, and there's no worry or risk of showing ego or pride. And that can be, they do it to, some people can do it to such a degree that there's literally nothing of them left but this, not my will but thine be done, he must increase, I must decrease, type of thinking. And a person needs to try to regain some of that natural emotional ego, even if they think it's sinful or whatever. And so I know myself, I mean, I can understand why a lot of people switch and leave traditional faith, um, because whether apologetics reasons. I remember for a year I had gotten the newspaper from the Freedom from Religion Foundation back in 1995 or 96. And I'd gotten quite a few of those books too. And I'd studied it for about a good 20, 25 years, just the relationship between Christian apologetics and humanistic, the secular web. And to me, it's still interesting to see how they battle. Some of the well-known atheists were Farrell Till, um, Dawkins, of course, Sam Harris, Dennett, Hitchens, my favorite of the atheist groups. Um, and then, of course, you have Madeline Murray O'Hare. You have Dan Barker, his wife, part of the mother wife daughter team or the mother daughter team from Free Thought Today, the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Oh, I forget their name. Their names are just right next to each other as far as the mother daughter. I forget their names right now. Anyway, so they have a lot of good writings, and then there's H. Waldo, um, now Rob Mark's bookseller, I think. Um, so anyway, I did my homework for about 20 years. Um, but I view myself in more in the theistic, just because I think the fine tuning argument is a good argument. It just, I think, I think it kind of brought back the design argument that Darwin can't really touch or evolution. So anyway, just a good thought, and I'll try to share more about this later. Just to, but for people who are struggling with that, I'd suggest there is a book called by Marlene Winnell called Leaving the Fold. But there's also some good. She's on the humanist side, so just letting people know if they're not. Um, but there are some good ones for people who do go and return to the faith. Some even good. I'd say Larson's had some good ones. So anyway, just letting you know. All right, talk again later. Bye.